What is good, fight fans? This is Ashley's Corner, and I haven't really talked about this fight, so let me just share my thoughts. For real, this fight is a fight that you really can't miss. It's gonna happen in Riyadh season, but it's gonna be on Netflix. It's gonna be, I believe, it starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bruh, this is undisputed versus undisputed. And two of the best fighters that's in the game. Canelo Sol Alvarez, which has 63 wins right now, 2 losses and 2 draws, versus Terrence Crawford, which is he has 41 wins and no losses. This is brought to you by Turkey Al Ashiki. Made it happen. So this is how the fight started, and let me know. I'm gonna tell you exactly, about both of these fighters. I honestly think this could be both of their last fight or one or the other. You know what I'm saying? It's very possible that this could be either Canelo's last fight or Terrence Crawford's last fight. The people that we want to see Canelo fight, he won't fight. And I think he really don't have really much more to prove to himself. So this could be his very well his last fight. And but also this is going to be a big if he wins this fight, this is going to be telling for his career and his legacy. And he definitely won't have anything else to prove. And both of them will be getting paid handsomely. Both of them are rich. So, you know what I mean, for the pocket watcher. So this is going to be a great fight, you know what I mean? And this could be both of their last fights. So I'm gonna start from the top. Canelo is 63 2-2. He has 39 knockouts. He's ranked number 1 in the world. He has 520 rounds up under his belt. His knockout percentage is 61.9%. He's been pro for 20 years. He's 35 years old. He's 5'7.5" with a 70.5-inch reach. Okay. His very first fight was at 140 pounds in September of 2005. He had fights at welterweight, which is 147. And at 154, he beat Shane Mosley by unanimous decision in 2012. He beat Josito Lopez by TKO in 5. After that, he beat Austin Trout by unanimous decision in 2013. He took a loss by majority decision. Should have been unanimous by Floyd Mayweather Jr. at a catch weight of 152 pounds. And then in 2014, he beat Laura by split decision, and that was a catch weight at 155. Then he fought Miguel Cotto at 155, also in 2015, which he won by unanimous decision. Then then he beat Amir Khan by KO in 2016. That fight was at 154. Then he fought Liam Smith. He beat him by KO in 2017. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. by unanimous decision, and that fight was at 164. And back to back, he fought Gennady Golovkin. The first fight was a split decision draw, and the second fight was a majority decision victory. Both fights, the second fight was in 2018. Both fights at 160. Then he fought Daniel Jacobs in 2019 at 160, won by unanimous decision. Then Kovalev right after that at 175 in the same year, and he beat him by KO. In 2020, he beat Caleb Smith by UD at 168. In 2021, he beat Billy Joe Saunders at 168. He retired on his stool in 8 rounds. Then he stopped Caleb Plant in the 11th round. Caleb took his second loss by Demetrius Bivol. That fight was at 175 in 2022, and he lost by unanimous decision. He turned around and fought Triple G for a third time that same year at 168. And then in 2023, 2 years ago, he fought Jamel Charlo for first time undisputed for undisputed. That was at 168, and Canelo won by unanimous decision. And last year, it was Jaime Mejia and Edgar Berlanga, two undefeated fighters. Canelo both beat by unanimous decision. Now we have Terence Crawford on September the 13th, Saturday, 2 Saturdays from now. Out of all the fighters that Canelo has fought, of course, including the names, I only spoke about the good names. Of course, he had a lot of other fights than that. But out of all of these fights, Canelo never got dropped, never got stopped, never even got wobbled. Now, Terence Crawford is 41-0 with 31 knockouts. He has 245 rounds up under his belt as a professional. He has a 75.61% knockout rating. He's been pro for 16 years. He's 37 years old, 5'8", with a 74-inch reach, and he is a southpaw. Now, his first fight was, I believe, around like 138 pounds, but he fought around 140. But his first fight was in March of 2008. Now, in 2014, he beat Ricky Burns by unanimous decision at 135 pounds. Then it was Gamboa by TKO in 2015. He TKO'd Thomas Delerme at 140, and Victor Postol was a unanimous decision victory in 2016 at 140 pounds. In 2017, he retired Felix Diaz on his stool in the 10th round, and he won undisputed by KO at 140 pounds in 2017 versus Julius Ndongo. After that, he moved up, and he was at 147 pounds, which he stopped everyone he fought, starting with Jeff Horn in 2018. Then Jose Benavidez Jr. in 2019, Amir Khan, and Ivis Kalvanakis, which is Mean Machine. In 2020, it was Kell Brook, and in 2021, it was Sean Porter. And in 2023, his last fight at the weight class, it was Earl Spence Jr. for undisputed at welterweight. After that, Bud fought one fight at 154 pounds versus Madrimov, beating him by unanimous decision last year in August. And now he gets the Canelo Alvarez fight, the fight of that everybody dreams for. But out of all of Bud's fights, of course, he got other fighters that I did not name. I just named the ones that had names that was good fighters and that didn't have a bunch of losses is the names that I named. But out of everybody that I named, he's never been knocked down and he's never been stopped. So, like, this is this is going to be a telling fight, and this is going to be a very, very hard fight for Bud, in my opinion, for him to, if he's going to go in there and really try to guarantee this. I think he guaranteed a stoppage, or he's going to give us a stoppage, but that's how he's going to make the fight hard, in my opinion. He did get big for this fight. He did bulk up for this fight. I think he did that because his fight with Madrimov at 154, he was really trying to stop him to show everybody that he is big enough and and strong enough to stop Canelo. But his punches really, in my opinion, and probably in his opinion also, didn't have the effect that he wished that it did. So he bulked up for this fight. I don't think Canelo doesn't really move around the ring. The most I've seen him move around the ring was when he fought Triple G for the first time. So honestly, and I know that Terence Crawford, since he do have a 74-inch reach, and I believe Canelo's is 70.5 or something like that. William Scholes was like 72 or 73 or something like that. I don't want to see a William Skull fight, but he can implement that and stand toe to toe and fight, kind of like Floyd Mayweather did. Terrence Crawford does have that skill, and he can do that. He did that mostly at 140 pounds. Mostly, he did that at the weight classes under 147, for real, for real. That's how I see him winning this fight versus Canelo. He would have to be elusive enough, like Floyd Mayweather was, and still be close enough to actually get points off of him. The way, kind of like the way both Canelo losses happened. Bivol wasn't as smooth as Floyd Mayweather, but his power and the the amount of punches that he threw, the volume, got the job done, and the fact that he had some heat behind them punches, he had the size advantage, he had the reach advantage, he had the height advantage. I believe he came down a weight class to fight Canelo. He got the job done because of those reasons. He stayed honest to his defense, but he let his hands go, and that's something that you have to do versus Canelo. You can't be concerned about what is being thrown back at you, and we see that Bud does have that ability, especially in his last fight versus the biggest, probably the biggest, the heaviest guy that he's fought, which is Madrimov at 154. He stood his ground, and he let his hands go at times. He needs to be tighter on his defense versus Canelo than he was in his last fight, because Canelo pops a lot harder. He can punch a lot harder than Madrimov. So that's the one concern, but I definitely don't want to see a Skull fight. But Skull just didn't have the power or the offense ability to pull off a Dimitri Bivol or a Floyd Mayweather. He didn't have the defense ability to do it also, to pull off that Floyd Mayweather-esque type of style. But Bud can actually pull that off. He can actually do that. But my only concern is, did he get too heavy? In my last, honestly, like when at welterweight, he really didn't do that much moving around. I always said that, like, he really moves around a lot at 140 because I believe he's cutting too much weight. He's cutting too much muscle. He needs to be hydrated more. Now we know that, and specialists said that it takes at least a week of rest to actually be your full self after you cut weight. And the people that's really big, cutting extra weight more than the average fighter, they go through that 10 times worse. So when he rehydrated, to a bigger weight class at 147, you seen a difference. He knocked everybody out. He looked good at that weight class. But moving up at to 154, we see him look very good, but he really wasn't moving around the ring that much. And he could have, because the guy that was in front of him was moving a lot to try to distract. But we all know that Canelo has a good body punch. Is a very good money punch. I was saying for years that I don't really think that Bud cares for body punches because of how high he wears trunks. He wears trunks very high in his fights. And I know his trunks is going to be high in this fight versus Canelo. I don't even I'm telling you. But he will have to really just make sure he guard the body a lot in this fight. You have to look out for his left hook to the body and his right and his left hook upstairs, and it's hard to really telegraph that, so you got to be elusive. But he can't go in this fight looking like a lot of fighters. 75% of the fighters look after he fought Floyd Mayweather, you know what I mean? They look kind of nervous, they look kind of scared in the ring. Terrence Crawford hasn't shown any of that type of energy, you know what I mean? And I expect to see a great fight in the ring, but that is how I see him winning the fight. Now, looking at the other side of the coin, though, Canelo, being that Canelo's experience and the fact that he has a leather face, that man's jaw is like a tank. That man's jaw, and he could take a punch, like, for real. And that is where Bud has most of his success from, is how he can make his opponents react to his punches. Now, if he can't make Canelo react to his punches, and he does stand there and he get caught a couple times, being that Canelo is Canelo, and Canelo got a draw versus Floyd Mayweather, versus, out of nowhere, I'm not even going to say, y'all should already know what I'm trying to say, it's very possible that, Canelo can win on the cards. It's very possible that Canelo can win on the cards, especially if Bud comes in here and be himself. That I know he is. The Bud that if he gets hit really good, he's gonna want to get his lick back and stuff like that. But if he be elusive, it's Canelo. I mean, Bud can win this fight. This is a toss up fight. I want Bud to win the fight. I really do. I think Canelo has stretched everybody thin with his fight choices, but like you've heard, that man has the best resume in boxing, in my opinion. Out of his losses, his draws, his wins, the man has the best resume in boxing. I gotta give it up for Canelo, and him wanting to fight whoever he want and chill and do the sport how he want to be. He still became the face of boxing, so I have to give it up to this man. It could be his very last fight. So I got to give it up to him. But, I think David Benavidez is the best fighter in this sport. I think that's the guy that nobody wants to fight, and for good reason, because he'll beat everybody. And I had to slip that in there because that's really what I feel. But, I mean, honestly, I do feel that Canelo could win this fight. Seriously, I think Canelo has a stronger chance of winning this fight than Bud. That's just honestly how I feel, yo. And I have to just go with how I feel. And how I feel is that Canelo's going to win this fight. Yes, I do want Bud to win, but let me know. Do you think that this might be Canelo or Bud's last fight? And who do you think is going to win? Always like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.